everybody, welcome back. Today I have an update and a wear and tear video for my Celine Box bag. So it is exactly 1 year since I purchased this bag from Harrods in London, and since that video I did two. I did one which is obviously the unboxing, then the second video was I did a first impressions, and ever since I did that video in November last year I haven't done an update on this bag. So I want to keep today's video really short. I don't want it to be like 30 minutes long. If you are up for a long video, my Celine first impressions video is long, and I went through the pros and cons about this bag in that video, and yeah, I'll link it up here, you can check it out. Today I want to address the wear and tear of this bag since I purchased it, and there is some wear. Before I get into all the scratches and creases and all that good stuff, let me tell you the usage of this bag. Now, I have a pretty decent collection of handbags, and you know, some bags get a lot of use, some bags get, you know, decent amount of use, and some just don't get a lot of use. And this bag, I would say, falls between decent to quite a lot of use. It is a bag that I carry almost every month, and every time I carry it, I use it for at least 1 to 2 weeks straight. There was a time around the middle of this year, I only used my toolbox, but then I swapped out to this, and I have been going back and forth between these bags. So this would get, if I average it out, every month at least a week to a week and a half. Like I average out the time that I've used this bag. So it does get a lot of use, and when I use a bag, I'm not the kind of person that changes every day or, you know, match my outfit. I use the bag until I'm like, okay, I think it's time to give you a rest. My lifestyle, if you're new to my channel, I travel for work. I go between 2 countries, and when I use a handbag, I use it for work, I use it for going out, I use it as I go to the gym, so I've got sweat, I've got everything, and then, you know, traveling means it's in the conveyor belt, it goes through security, da 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 da. So it does take a bit of beating. I'm not the most careful, but I try to be less of a monster with it, because it is smooth calfskin, but it is a bag that does get put through the ringer quite a bit. So that is just an overview of how I use this bag. Biggest concern that I had for this bag was the smooth calfskin and scratches. So I'm gonna put some pictures here, and I can tell you I have hardly any scratches. I would say that it's there, but it's not like as bad as I thought it would be, especially of a year of use. I was actually really concerned that this buckle would, you know, scrape the bag. And I think there are 1 or 2 that is caused by this buckles, but it's not so bad because I'm not the most careful. Like, I would just put the bag like this, I'll carry it. But I think you need to really press the buckle and scrape it downwards or upwards to get a dent and a scratch on this bag. It's not like, you know, if let's say it drops like this, let me just drop it now, like this, there's nothing. It will not dent your bag. It's pretty good material. These are quite sharp, and I mentioned it in my past video. If you press it and go down, of course it will scratch. But if you just like, you know, like this, drop down, I don't see anything. There is some scratches, and it's probably from, I don't know, people's fingernails, my own fingernails, maybe from my ring and all of that. But it has held up tremendously well for the abuse that I've given it. The odd thing that I didn't anticipate is actually dents. And it's not so like sharp dents, deep dents, but there are like kind of like bumps along the bag. Probably pressed it against something, so I do have a few minor like light dents that I see, and I don't think dents can be buffed out. But let me just I'll obviously put some pictures, but I don't know if you can see. Okay, there we go. Can you see that? That's like a dent. It's a dent there. That's one. I have 1 or 2. I don't have like a lot. And yeah, so that's the only thing that I didn't anticipate from getting this bag is dents. There is no creases as at the top of this flap. As I open it, there isn't any, you know, like some bags you can get really deep creases here. Actually, there isn't. I would open the bag entirely like this. As you can see, there is none. The creases inside here, because this is like the softer part of the leather, is, I would say, not different from what I saw when I got the bag. It is pretty okay. The leather inside here is much softer than outside. So I've seen one handbag from a friend. There was so much damage inside here, and it was something that I monitored, but it's still looking very, very new. But yeah, creases is not something that I see on this bag. The glazing on this bag after a year is still pristine. I was really concerned with the glazing here. There is some lightening, you know, it's not as shiny as the rest of the glazing here, but here is a little bit more matte, you know what I mean, because of the rubbing here. I think it will wear off given time, so probably by next year I would bring it to the Celine store and see what I can do about this, maybe to reglaze it a little bit to, you know, protect it. But actually there is not much of an issue with the glazing. Let me just come back close. Can you see? It looks pretty good. It's a little bit more matte, but other than that, it is looking really good. In my last review, I was pretty gentle with the bag because I said it's very new. But now, obviously, after a use, I just, you know, just press the bag here and close it, because this is something that, you know, you need a bit of force. So it has softened, but it's not like butter soft. It is softened and stretched a little bit. So now closing the bag is much easier. Even though I've got something like a lot of things inside, it is much easier to close. And I have kind of mastered the single arm body push way to close the bag. So let me show you. Let's say the bag's open like this. So everything would, you know, because it's accordion style, it would open up like this. So what I do is I just use my body, like push the top flap here. I use my thumb to press the top, and I would just kind of like play around with the buckle here. Use my body to push, and I can get it to close. So originally I needed to use both hands, like this, both hands to close it. But now I can kind of like use my body and then use my thumb to squeeze. So this is kind of like my hand, my body, and then it'll close. Of course, if the bag is super full, then that's going to be a bit challenging. But if it's like semi-full, one hand is still pretty, you know, pretty useful. The leather on the top has softened, and the other part that has softened a little bit more is the base, because as I put my things inside here, so as I put it in, let me just take them out first. If there's nothing inside the bag, I can press it in and it curves upwards. But if I got stuff inside, I do tend to press it in, and that would flatten the base, becoming like this at the bottom. It has softened, but nothing too, like it's overly stretched. Like that's the maximum. When it's flat, that's maximum. It hasn't gone into like a dip yet. And you just have to be wary of not overstuffing the bag. Otherwise, you will get that, you know, dip at the bottom. There are two places that has the most wear for this bag after 1 year. And the first is the inner part of the hardware. I will put a picture and a close up. So every time I close this bag, it will kind of scrape this clip here so that you can close it. And over time, it has, I don't know, faded. I'm not really sure what faded or scratched it is, but definitely this part, this hardware inside has the most wear. The second part, as I predicted, there will be wear where the strap rubs against the leather. Initially, I thought the glazing would be the one that gets the first hit, but actually it was the inner leather here. And I'll also put pictures and you can see. I was quite surprised to find that it is almost like rubbed and peeled. Not so terrible that it's going to the entire part of the inner flap. Just a little bit at the corner here. So I think it's something that I have to monitor as I use this bag more and more often. But these are the only two spots that have the most wear. Now, before I end this video, I have one more thing, and this is like the most important message I have for people who are thinking about getting this bag, this exact model, or have this bag. And please, please be super careful, because I went through it. I wish I kept the photo, but I didn't. Now, this is in that smooth, like you would think it is waterproof. you know, this like shiny, you know, water little droplets will just fall off it. Oh my god, no, okay. If you have like some sprinkle of water, obviously just take a cloth and wipe it off, or you know, don't be so worried about it. But if you are caught in rain, now I was caught in torrential rain, like storming. Just finished class and now I am stuck because it's raining and I have no umbrella with me. Goodness.
Hey guys.
Okay, so I'm waiting for the traffic light to turn to about 10 seconds and then I'm gonna run and that's gonna change, so I'm gonna go dun dun. And my bag was getting giant droplets of water. The whole bag was just like drenched. And I was drenched as well. I think I did a vlog like last month. I was drenched, I was all soaked with water, and this bag was caught in the rain. When I looked down at my bag, the water droplets, because they were significant, they actually caused like water bumps on my bag. I freaked out because that means the water, even though I thought it was like waterproof, obviously it's not, it didn't like just drip off, it was just a lot of water. They had little bumps on my bag and I was freaking out, okay? I quickly tried to dry it up, but obviously it was a little bit too late. So I put it out like close to the window and then I didn't put like, you know, hair dryer to dry because that will damage the leather, but I put it somewhere where it was warmer and that helped to dry up the water and it went back smooth. But oh my gosh, there were big like bubbles of water, like it had like my bag had boils, okay? I was freaking out. So people, please, if you have this bag and you think because it's shiny and smooth and a bit of water won't help, won't cause any damage, no, okay, no. I can tell you, please be super careful. If you get water on this bag, wipe it off immediately. If you're gonna be caught in rain, wrap it up in a plastic bag. Please do not go through what I went through because I freaked out, okay? So that's my last and most important message for this wear and tear review video. If you have any questions about this bag, please leave it in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations for me to, you know, take care of the inner part of the bag, especially that was peeling a little bit, let me know in the comments down below as well. Otherwise, you guys, take care and I will see you in my next video. Bye.